next? Got milk? You may wish you didn't after tonight's Hard Target investigation exposes what's really in some of it.
Milk is loaded with powerful growth hormones, hormones that should never be in the human body.
Imagine a cow on crack cocaine. That's how author Robert Cohen describes something shot into millions of cows on American farms.
We genetically engineer a hormone that produces more milk when we didn't need more milk.
While Cohen admits calcium is good for you, he says leafy green vegetables have lots more calcium than milk.
If you look at nature's perfect food, human breast milk, there are 33 milligrams of calcium per 100-gram portion. Potato chips have 40, beans have 50, chickpeas 150, amaranth, a grain, has 267.
Cohen says dairy products are a poor source of calcium for another reason.
Every scientist in the world knows that protein inhibits calcium absorption, and milk is liquid meat. It's protein.
What is in milk that you say is poisonous, and why would the government be covering this up?
Well, what's in milk? You're drinking body fluids from other animals. 60% of the cows in America have leukemia virus. 80% have something called paratuberculosis. You don't want to eat something with that name, paratuberculosis. Animals, 60% of the cows in America have leukemia virus. 80% have something called paratuberculosis. You don't want to eat something with that name, paratuberculosis. You've got irritable bowel syndrome in America. That's what it causes. 4 million American women have irritable bowel syndrome. You're talking about if your doctor said, I want you to eat today 53 slices of bacon because that cholesterol is good for you, you're eating from your dairy products the same cholesterol contained in 19,000 slices of bacon this year. By age 52, 1 million slices of bacon's worth of cholesterol. You don't want that in your body.
Of real concern, though, you talk about the bovine growth hormone.
Hormone is the big word here. There are 4,000 mammals. There are 500,000 different hormones. Only one hormone, this is the big secret the dairy industry doesn't want you to know, only one hormone is identical in all of nature between two animals. It's human and cow. It's the most powerful growth hormone in our body. Drink a 12-ounce glass of milk. Double the only hormone that makes breast cancer grow once you get. The milk we're drinking is filled with fat. We know that. Cholesterol. We don't know it's filled with virus, bacteria, powerful growth hormones, proteins that cause a vast array of allergies in the human body. This is not nature's perfect food.
In a book called Milk, the Deadly Poison, Robert Cohen attacks what's long been considered the perfect food, claiming it can be a dangerous brew of chemical, biological, and bacterial agents that may also contain a growth hormone he believes can trigger the growth of cancer.
We know children come into puberty earlier in America. We don't know why. Every sip of milk, they're drinking, in addition to this most powerful growth hormone, 59 different bioactive hormones. What nations have the highest rates of breast cancer in the world? I ask people, they say, United States. Denmark, Norway, Holland, and Sweden. What nations have the highest rates of osteoporosis, crippling bone disease? Denmark, Norway, Holland, and Sweden.
Robert, welcome to Your Health.
Nice to be here.
Mother says milk is good. What is this? Milk is no good.
Let me tell you about milk. The #1 protein in milk is casein, C-A-S-E-I-N. That's 80% of the protein in milk. That's the same glue they use to put a label on a bottle of beer. That's the same glue they use to hold your wooden furniture together.
So we're drinking glue.
You're drinking glue and you create so much mucus. This much casein, this much mucus.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Emily Deschanel for PETA. As a mother, I experience the joy of raising my son every day. But not all moms are so lucky. Like human mothers, cows carry their young for 9 months and have strong maternal instincts, and their calves would naturally consume their milk for almost a year. But mother cows on dairy farms have their young traumatically torn away from them shortly after birth so that the milk meant for their calves can be sold to people instead. On dairy farms, cows are repeatedly artificially inseminated, are kept almost constantly pregnant, and have calf after calf taken away from them. Dairy farmers genetically manipulate and often drug cows, forcing them to produce up to 4.5 times the amount of milk they would naturally produce to feed their calves. Male calves are considered little more than a byproduct, and most are either slaughtered for meat or shipped off to the horrific veal industry, where many spend their short lives in tiny crates, unable to even turn around. Female calves are destined for the same sad fate as their mothers. Cows also suffer horrific abuses on dairy farms. Many cows have holes punched through their ears and have their horns or sensitive horn tissue cut or burned off without any painkillers. Some farmers even remove parts of cows' tails with rubber bands or sharp knives. When their milk production declines, cows are sent to slaughter to be ground up into hamburger. A cow's natural lifespan is about 25 years, but cows used by the dairy industry are killed after only 4 or 5 years. Cow's milk was designed for baby cows, and consuming it increases humans' risk of developing a number of health problems. For children, it's the #1 cause of allergies and has also been linked to acne and even type 1 diabetes. Later in life, dairy consumption can contribute to the risk of developing breast, ovarian, or prostate cancer. The best way to help cows abused by the dairy industry and keep your family healthy is to stock your fridge with delicious vegan foods. Dairy-free milk, cheese, ice cream, and yogurt are readily available at your local grocery or health food store and offer all the nutrition that you and your children need with none of the cholesterol or cruelty found in dairy products. Please join me in standing up for all mothers by refusing to support the cruel dairy industry.
Milk is the first food we consume. Our mother's breast milk, if we are fortunate. Breast milk is high in polyunsaturated essential fatty acids. The human brain develops rapidly during the first year of life, growing much faster than the body and tripling in size by the age of 1. The higher level of unsaturated fatty acids in human milk reflects the important role of these fats in brain development. A rapid increase in body size is more imperative for cows than rapid brain development. Therefore, cows provide milk that is high in bodybuilding saturated fats to help their calves grow rapidly in size. We assume cow's milk is the most wholesome, healthy, complete food there is. The truth is, it is for baby cows.
Dairy cows are the hardest worked of all farm animals. A cow nurtures a growing baby inside her while simultaneously producing up to 120 pints of milk a day. To keep the flow going, she is forcibly impregnated every year, and her babies are taken away a day or two after birth, year after year after year. It's not surprising this continual state of pregnancy and lactation takes its toll.
Over 1 million cows a year suffer from excruciating mastitis, a bacterial infection of the teat. When not treated, it results in the formation of pus. In the United Kingdom, milk from infected cows containing up to 400 million pus cells per litre can legally be sold for human consumption. In the United States, the legal amount of pus cells per litre varies from state to state, with Rhode Island being the lowest at just over 200 million pus cells per litre, and Florida being the highest, legally allowing just over 500 million pus cells per litre.
1 teaspoonful of milk could contain up to 2 million pus cells. Now, would you drink it?
Many ailments are associated with high dairy consumption. Extensive research has been carried out over numerous years, the most comprehensive being the China study. Professor T. Colin Campbell from Cornell University in New York joined forces with colleagues in China, France, United Kingdom, Canada, and the United States. These leading medical professionals, using approved scientific methods, have exposed long-term side effects from drinking cow's milk. A joint study between Canada and Finland implicated cow's milk as a risk factor for type 1 diabetes in every one of the diabetic children studied. A compound called insulin-like growth factor, known as IGF-1, is found in cow's milk and has been shown to occur in increased levels in the blood by individuals consuming dairy products on a regular basis. Men who had the highest levels of IGF-1 had more than 4 times the risk of prostate cancer compared with those who had the lowest levels. Professor T. Colin Campbell suggests that IGF-1 is turning out to be a predictor to certain cancers, including prostate, in much the same way that cholesterol is a predictor of heart disease.
Of all the predictors of prostate cancer, the consumption of dairy is the best predictor of prostate cancer.
During their lifetime, the average American consumes almost 600 pounds of dairy products, which is about 3 times more dairy than grains and almost 5 times more dairy than vegetables. Today, most people recognize that smoking is the biggest single preventable risk factor for cancer. However, It is less well known that a poor diet is the second largest preventable risk factor for cancer. It's not true to say that milk is the best source of calcium. A 100-gram serving of plain tofu containing almost double the amount of calcium than 100 milliliters of milk. A small 25-gram serving of sesame seeds contains more calcium than a glass of milk. Foods rich in calcium include dark green vegetables such as broccoli, bok choy, kale, beans, tofu, tahini, almonds, figs, seaweeds, and fortified soy milk. You can also find milk replacements made from rice, cashews, almonds, oats, and peas.
Now you know the harm this innocent-looking glass of milk does to your body, to the cow, and to the planet. Next time you go to purchase a pint of milk, why not try a non-dairy alternative? Your small step could make a huge difference to your health, your child's, your family's, and to the planet.
Well, contrary to the message that we've been given from a very young age, cow's milk is not a guarantee of protection from bone fracture. And when you look around the world at the epidemiology, it becomes really clear that in fact it's the populations where the most milk and the most calcium is consumed that we see the highest risk of fracture. But I have found that almost invariably when people see the science, when they see the overwhelming evidence that cow's milk is loaded with toxins that are very dangerous, environmental contaminants, and actually powerful growth hormones and such that may elevate our risk for disease, that they become convinced that this really is not something that we should be consuming. It's always surprising to people to learn that when you look around the world, it's actually the very countries that are consuming the most milk and consuming the most calcium in their diet who have the highest risk of developing a bone fracture. So that would be like Australia, New Zealand, Canada, North America, the Western European nations. That's where we see all the bone disease. But the inverse is so as well. So populations in China, Japan, Thailand, Vietnam, people don't have milk mustaches. They're not obsessing over how much calcium they're eating. They eat very little dairy in general. That's where we see the greatest protection, the lowest risk of suffering a bone fracture. And men and women in their 7th and 8th decade of life have strong, robust bones. They're out, they're active, they're moving around, they're lifting up their grandchildren, they're working in fields and enjoying a healthy life. You know, the relationship between just saturated fat consumption and risk of heart disease, hypertension, various cancers and such, cholesterol, chemical contaminants in milk, all of these things have relationships and contribute to risk of a variety of conditions, whether it be neurological disease such as Parkinson's disease or prostate cancer, breast cancer, coronary artery disease. So when one looks at the totality of what they're being exposed to, whether it be the contaminants or whether it be the bovine growth hormone that's causing the IGF-1 levels to rise, the estrogen that is substantially elevated in these pregnant cows and then expressed in the milk, all of these things are contributing to our total risk of a variety of different health problems.
What country has the highest rate of breast cancer? Yell it out. U.S. No. It's Denmark, followed by Norway, followed by Holland, followed by Sweden. Think about this. Who eats the most milk and cheese? It's Denmark, Norway, Holland, and Sweden. Interesting. Where's the highest rate of osteoporosis? You need milk and cheese or you're going to get bone disease. Where's the highest rate of osteoporosis? Same. Denmark, Norway, Holland, Sweden. Heart disease, same. Asthma, same. Diabetes, same. Multiple sclerosis, same. Irritable bowel syndrome, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease. Okay. Got milk? Okay, we've got some interesting things that we have to look at. Somebody with irritable bowel syndrome, ulcerative colitis, or Crohn's. There's a quotation in here published by the National Academy of Sciences in 1996 that 100% of people, 100% with Crohn's disease, test positive for a bacteria that the average cow invested $200 a year. It's called Mycobacterium paratuberculosis. Does not cause paratuberculosis, causes Johne's disease in cows. And I've got the real science here. Even the dairy industry admitting. So every morning, the people who didn't attend this meeting wake up in their cereal. They're eating estrogen and progesterone and prolactin and melatonin and oxytocin and IGF-1 and growth hormones. And that's what they're eating. And anybody I'm 61, but anybody who's over 45 knows that little girls look different today than they did years ago.